was the last time you took a leap of faith, trusting that everything is going to work out? Do you crave growth, or are you merely content with the status quo? If you want more out of your life, out of your career, and out of your relationships, you are in the right place. Take the leap and discover how to create a life by design rather than living it by default. Real success starts with you. Now here's your host, Colleen Biggs.
Alrighty, hello listeners, and welcome back to another episode of Take the Leap. I am your host, Colleen Biggs, and thank you again for your loyal support and for being with us and making us one of the top podcasts in the world. We appreciate your loyalty and downloads, and it's not me, I know it's these amazing guests that I have on here every single week, because these guests are incredible and they bring you tips for your business, for your life. They're going to give you real actions that you can take so that you can design your life the way you want it to be, because life is happening for us, remember, not to us. And today, my guest, Lori Osborne, and I, we love to talk about websites. We love to talk about your print in the technology, in the digital world, and why it can be the hub of your business. And along with that, we'll touch on having SEO ready websites, so many different subjects that if you have a website, great, you still need to listen to this, okay? It's not like because you have a website, you don't need to listen to this, because she makes websites really easy for you. And you just may be using some platforms that aren't working for you anymore, or maybe are outdated, or once were the best platforms and no longer are they. But before we get to Lori today, I want to thank our sponsor of today's show, Alley Spine Center. What sets their office apart from other offices is their focus and expertise in treating degenerative spinal conditions, including disc disease, bulging herniated disc, spinal stenosis, neuropathy, sciatica, pain, tingling, and numbness in the arms and hands and legs and feet, as well as severe and chronic neck pain and headaches. They specialize in corrective care, not just the treatment of symptoms with the physical medicine modalities. And in many cases, pre and post images are used to help determine the structural improvements of the spine. So if you're someone who suffers from those pains we just discussed, and you haven't experienced chiropractic in an integrative corrective care office, then please make sure you call them and make an appointment immediately to see if they can get you back to living your best life pain-free. You can reach Alley Spine Center at 480-809-4700, and be sure to visit them on the website at alleyspinecenter.com. They are in the Phoenix, Arizona area, but I know that there are a lot of online YouTube videos that Alley Spine Center offers as well, for you to be able to be educated on some stretches and things you can do to help with pain. And they can also refer a corrective care integrative health specialist in your area. So be sure to reach out to them today at alleyspinecenter.com. All right, Lori, let's talk about Lori Osborne for a minute. She's a public speaker, a best-selling author, and the founder and chief solution architect for BizBolster Web Solutions. Lori designs websites and sets up SEO tools that attract new prospects and build the know, like, and trust factors when prospects land on your website. Lori has worked with local and national small businesses, as well as nonprofits across multiple industries. Lori has over 30 years experience in technology and has been a small business owner for over 15 years. And she really understands the challenges that small business owners face with technology and digital marketing solutions. Lori, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
It's so great to have you here. And Lori has assisted so many women within the LEAP community, my own private clients, to be able to assist them in getting websites rebuilt. So these were women that already had websites rebuilt on an easier platform for them to be able to increase their SEO. So SEO is search engine optimization. And let's just say, why is that so important? Why is search engine optimization so important in your terms, Lori?
Because the majority of time when people are looking for a service or a product, they go to Google or they go to a search engine. And if you are not optimized to be found, you're not going to show up when people go and search for you.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's really, it's the sign on your door digitally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll give an example. I had a company, Jane.com, reach out to me. They found me on Google, searched me. She started listening to my podcast, and then before you know it, they had a conference coming up and needed a speaker. So they reached out to me directly, through a contact form on my website. I had a client find me because she typed in a business coach for women near me. And, here I am. So, and she lives literally like 3 miles from me. So this is the power of online technology. I'm going to ask every one of you right now, when you go to look for something, where are you going? The Yellow Pages, like physically, that sit in a cupboard in your house?
Do we have those anymore?
No. My point is, you go to your phone, you go to Apple, you go to Siri, you go to Google, you go to wherever, and you say, this is what I'm looking for. And one of the biggest areas I'll tell you is like YouTube, right? Because when you say how to blank, 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 YouTube videos will show up. And how important it is, we'll talk about backlinks and all that in a minute, but websites, if someone's looking for a speaker, let's say, and you're a speaker, or someone's looking for a dentist or someone, whatever, and they go and they find you maybe on Google Maps, but you have no website. So they don't have a website to look you up, to understand what type of dentist you are. They don't know exactly what type of insurance plans you take. They don't know anything about you. What are the odds that that person is probably going to move forward with you as their dentist to do, an initial consultation versus a dentist that has a website? They can see all of that information. That provides what I would call credibility. So tell us, Lori, what are some of the projects that you've worked on, and how has that really assisted those individual clients, from small businesses all the way up to the large counties you've worked with and nonprofits?
Well, it's just like you said, the having the website shows you as a business. That is your business representation online. Without that, I see so many businesses try to do it with Facebook or even LinkedIn, and they feel like that's enough. But how are you showing yourself as a true business if there's no place for someone to go and find out what your services are, how you operate, and even your brand? That all of that is demonstrated on your website. And I have done this with so many different industries. The other thing that I find, like I do a lot of service industries, coaches, massage folks, anyone that has a lot of appointments. And even that, I personally do not like to pick up the phone and schedule an appointment. So I encourage everyone to have an automated scheduler. Well, best way to do that, go to your website, book now, right there on your website, have it all set up. It's so much easier, and you've got that credibility with that website.
Yeah.
So I think, and I know you asked like what kind of clients I work with, and mentioned the county. So I'll just mention, I did, most of us know there's been a big drive for years to reduce opioid addiction. And our county used the funds that they got from CDC and Health and Human Services to build a website specifically for information for people in the area about the resources and how they can reduce it. And we even pulled in 10 personal stories on videos that is life-changing, absolutely life-changing. So I will mention that. And I'll have to think of
that. Was like a huge give back for you to provide that. So I'm sure creating these websites are very satisfying and gratifying for you as well, because you're creating a representation of that business, no matter what that looks like, if they're a nonprofit. I work very closely with one local Live and Learn that, take women out of generational poverty. Now I'm a business advisor for them. There's a lot of, we all care about nonprofits. We're all, donating to them, charities. And so that's incredible that you were able to create that for them, and provide that information that people have somewhere to go. Because if I had a niece or a nephew or a child or a granddaughter or grandson that, became addicted to drugs. I've never really been around that. I wouldn't know where to get information to deal with that. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yes. And that was exactly the point. And it is so fulfilling. I've worked with so many nonprofits, and it's, I continue to work with those nonprofits over and over. And it is, every time they have an event and every time I can participate in getting that word out there. And the other thing that, you mentioned just representing them, like that's something that I really love doing, is not just building a plain old Jane templated website. I really love to get to know my clients and truly represent their personality and their brand. And, if you have the same website for everyone, you got to catch that uniqueness of who you're dealing with.
Yeah. I love that. And their voice, right? That's the power of websites. Now, with that website, like you talked about, say that someone had an opioid addiction or was a family member looking for information, where are they going to go? Google. They're going to type in information on this opioid or information on this drug, or how do you get someone who's addicted to this drug non-addicted, or whatever. You're going to type in all of these questions. And so the power of the SEO matters for the website. So how you're using the blog, right? There's Google crawl certain areas, and I know your team works on that.
Yes. And even, one of the things that we have in our SEO package that I love is we build FAQ pages for everyone. And it's just funny that we're talking about this website specifically, because one of the things I tell people is through the FAQs, it is possible that when someone types in a question, a piece of your website, your FAQ could show up as an answer. And the other day, I was looking for opioid information. I don't even remember why I was doing it, but it came up, a piece of their website came up, and I'm like, yes, that is what we're going for. Because what kind of credibility does that give when someone asks a question and your website answers that question?
Yeah. I hope that happens to me, because Lori and her team built me FAQ pages on my website and manage all of my SEO. And let's talk about the different types of platforms that are out there. There's a lot of different platforms for websites. There's way more today than ever was back when you were doing this, 15 years ago. And it's changed. The layout of websites have really changed. Let's dive into that a little bit for someone who has a specific platforms or are looking at other platforms or don't have a website at all, and they don't even know where to get started. Yeah.
Right. Well, and unfortunately, in my opinion, WordPress really has established itself as the kind of primary platform for small to mid-sized businesses. And most people that do what I do build in WordPress. The problem I have with that is WordPress is rather difficult to manage, especially for a solopreneur or someone that is managing their business that has no technical background. And it also is built on multiple plugins from multiple different companies, which just leads to compromises if they're not updated or they're not compatible with each other. I mean, it's just can be a bigger nightmare. So there are other platforms, we see on TV, Wix and Squarespace are kind of and GoDaddy are kind of the big advertisers. What I look at is customer service, ease, and SEO friendly. And I found that several are not. And we use a platform called Duda, D-U-D-A. And the reason I use it is they have the amazing customer service. They are very SEO friendly and one of the easiest to use. So it really meets all of those requirements. And, it's something someone can go direct or go through someone like me with an agency, and we can host it for them.
I like that you shared that, because, I don't screw around on this podcast about, tiptoeing around subjects. And my husband had a WordPress site, like, and somehow a business somehow got a hold of him and was able to access his website, and it was down like all the time. And they kept contacting him. Your website's down. It'll cost you this much money to get it back up. And I swear the company was doing something to knock his website down because they had no issues until this company came into play. So there are untrustworthy companies out there. And he decided to move to Duda. He also decided to build our Beyond Basil Pizza company on Duda, and the SEO is incredible, as well as the back end of, the visits are just insane of how many visits we've had, and we've done no marketing for that business, right? And my husband's, business has increased as well, and he hasn't had to do any Google ads or anything like that. So I can attest to knowing that it has worked really well with the move that he's made. I know you've worked with a couple of my clients that have made that move as well, and have moved over to Duda, and they, the ease of it, they just absolutely love it. They can make easy changes. You're easy to work with. They said, like, everything's wonderful. But I think that's important because there's a lot of website developers out there and companies, like I just mentioned, that you don't know if they're trustworthy or not. And, they charge you an arm and a leg to make a change. And it's something so simple and quick that, it could have been done in 30 seconds. And, they charge you an hour for the change or whatever it is, Well,
and I think part of WordPress too, is it's so intimidating just to even get in it. That I think people I have so many clients that just open it up and go, I'm afraid to even touch anything. If I touch anything, I'm going to break it. And the thing is, you can easily break it in WordPress. So I feel like Duda is just a lifesaver in that area for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. Talking about the power of websites and why it's so important. This podcast is about visibility. The Leap community is about visibility, being seen, being heard. Number one rule in business, you have to tell everybody about you. And I couldn't imagine not having yourself all over the internet. Well, how do people do that, Lori? How did they get a footprint in so many digital areas like YouTube, and, then they've got their social media, and I wouldn't even say there has to be a science to it, but you've got to be present and have a footprint in all of these areas, because doesn't that help when you've got a YouTube video linked, like when you do things on your blog and you're backlinked? And do you want to explain what all those are that kind of create this web of visibility for yourself on Google? I mean, because I'm really proud of where I've gotten with the help of your team and what I've accomplished over the years, and where I've gotten to. And that is not all my work that's me being present on other people's platforms and then them promoting me. I think that's the importance.
And I think that's what you've nailed. I mean, that is the key to being seen is, yes, our website is important and our website needs to be optimized. Absolutely. But the more we can connect with other websites, especially ones that are even more established or have higher rankings in SEO. So those backlinks. So when you're speaking, this podcast is a great example. I will put this podcast on my website and I will reference you, and that link we'll give each other that link, and the same on social media. I mean, think about it. If you post on social media and or let's say someone else posts on social media and they have a massive following and they reference you, well, you're getting that following as well. The same is true when you've got those backlinks on the website. So I always encourage people, public speaking isn't for everyone, but we all have an expertise. Be a guest on a podcast, be a guest writer in magazines, do anything you can to get that link from another publication, another website, anything you can do. And then just build that credibility. And then the blogs are kind of completely separate. We all handle our own blogs, or you can have guest writers, but blogs are great for putting out your expertise for one, and for those keywords and being found through SEO.
Yeah. We're talking to small business owners here. This is someone who's selling a service or a product, right? And you're a small business owner. We're talking to you because you're the one that needs the website. You're the one that needs to have a digital footprint so that people know who you are. And utilizing the power of other people's platforms is very important. It's one of the reasons why in my community, part of the membership, they get the interview on the podcast, but they also can submit to me blogs every month. So they can submit blogs with images and with links, and they're sharing their expertise. Now we've done the work to expand our reach, and now we're putting them on our blog, and they've got backlinks on them. And so they're utilizing and leveraging our platform for their business. And that's partnering with someone else to do that. So there may be companies out there, and you go on and you read their blog section, and you think, I have something to contribute to this. And then you reach out to the company and say, hey, do you take contributors for your blog? Because I would love to contribute a blog. And they might say, oh my gosh, yes, please send us a blog. We would love that, because that helps the value of what they're sharing with their audience as well. And so I love having it be a win-win for both of us, because I get to share that information with my audience. At the same time, I get to help a member of my community stay visible and relevant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
super important.
And so many people will be open to that, because I don't know about anybody else, but I get kind of tired of writing a blog every single month. I would love to just, and I do. Fortunately, I get contacted frequently, people saying, I have something to contribute to put on your website. Please do the writing for me. I am happy to share my credibility, to have someone else's expertise represented on my website where I don't have to write it.
Yeah.
Like you said, win-win. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can even charge for that. So if you're a small business owner and someone wants to contribute to your blog, you can say, we charge $100 for blogs to be published on our website. But they think you're this master SEO representative, right? And of course, because you do that service for other companies, your SEO is like number one in your area, of course. And so that's a benefit for them. They're like leveraging, again, your reach. So something like that is a very affordable marketing for them, and they're writing the blog. So you not only get paid for it, but you can post it as well. You talked a little bit about magazines and writing articles for other magazines. A lot of magazines are looking for contributors, regular contributors. We had a special guest last week with my private client training. We missed you, Lori. And we had a private client training where I brought in a public relations specialist. She's been a journalist for over 30 years. And one of the things she said was, you can become a regular contributor in magazines if you just reach out to several different magazines or several different platforms. They're always looking for online or in print regular contributors, and you can become that, especially if they love your writing. So there are opportunities, and that can be free. There are opportunities out there for you to leverage. I think that's the goal, right? To really leverage and have a presence on Facebook and have a page and be putting things on there regularly. Same with Instagram, maybe TikTok, definitely LinkedIn if you're a business, and YouTube videos, and backlinking all of these, to your website. So if someone goes to your website, they can click and go to your Instagram page. They can click and go to your Facebook page, and have all that available on there. It doesn't make any sense for you to have all of this and not have it represented right on your website. Yeah.
It's the social media, it's all valuable, but it's also so important that it links back to your website. Everything needs to point back to your website, and then have something on your website to give to someone coming to your website to make them want to come to your website.
Let's talk about that.
When I build websites, the first thing I have in mind is building know, like, and trust. We've talked about that 100 times, if not more. But it's so important. It's the relationship, especially in small businesses, is key. Yeah. And most of the time, people are not going to your website to buy. Converting to me, converting is building a relationship more than making the sale, because That to me is the point of the website. Let's use it to build the relationship. So if the first thing they see when they get to your website is a freebie, something of value that they can use that comes from you, wow, they're like, oh my gosh, off the bat, I get something for free and I get to know this person. And you drive them to your website through the social media, offering that freebie. It all works together and starts that relationship.
Yeah. Especially if you're a service-based, business like that, for sure. Someone like my husband who owns Phoenix Drone Pros, a lot different because people are going to his website. He immediately has if you are a commercial realtor, this is what we offer you. If you're a contractor, this is what we offer you. So big construction companies, they can see right there, oh yeah, this is what I need. And then he has a booking page, right? So everything comes through his website, the booking, everything does. People just book directly on his website. That's a different type of service that you're offering. Someone like me, most of the time, people aren't just going to go on my website and book me, right? They're going to go on my website and they're going to somehow get a freebie or get downloaded or watch a video of me or read a little bit more about me, get to know me, read the testimonials, see the different types of events I put on, the type of community I create. And then they might get a download from me that has then a nurturing sequence. And those emails are going to nurture them so they can get to know me a little bit more. And they're going to invite them to a few more things that I have going on and kind of building that relationship, which I would say you and I are in the business of doing, right? You build those relationships. Now, in your case, Lori, yours is very service oriented in a product. So people could come to your website and just be like, I want this type of a website, but it's so personal to them. They're going to talk to you and say, so could you do this? Could you do that? Look at my website. Can you duplicate this? I don't like this website anymore. It's outdated. I want a newer one that looks like this. So they're going to want to have a conversation with you on the phone to understand a little bit more. So if that's you, and your website's outdated, you need a new website, you need to update on a platform that is more active today with SEO friendly. Trust me when I say SEO friendly is like paying someone to market you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm just being honest.
Yes.
Because it's doing the work for you and you're not out there, having to do it. So I would say if you're one of those people, bizbolster.com is definitely where you want to go to start, right? You want to get out there and you want to go to bizbolster.com. But I know you also have some tools on your website that allow them to get like a quick review of what do you have out there, Lori? So someone listening today can really understand. You've got some cool reports. And the reports will just tell you whether you like it or not, if your website sucks or if your website's doing really well. Because I had Lori do a report on mine. I'm like, okay, you got it. This was months ago. You got to help me out. And she was like, wow, yeah, there's a lot screwed up on your website that's messing up your SEO. So it might look beautiful from the front. It might be functioning okay for what you think, but in the background for Google, it doesn't even want to recognize your website because it's so messed up. There's a big difference on the visual of what we see. It's kind of like a family that posts on Instagram everything wonderful that's happening in their life. And then behind closed doors, it's a wreck. That's kind of what happens on Google with your website.
That's a great analogy. I love it.
It's the truth. We never know what's going on behind closed. You think everything's awesome. And then next thing you know, they're saying they're divorced and you're like, what the heck happened? That's what's happening with your website. The only way you know is by doing this review. So Lori, you've got that, right?
Yes, we give an audit, and it's just really important to know that not most web developers don't know what has to be done to make Google happy. It's a completely different skill set and talent than building a website. So yes, we look at the back end more than just how you're ranking, but how the website was built and the things that need to be done differently to make it more SEO friendly and make Google happier, basically. So yes, we do offer a free audit. I also have a download on the same page, Your Guide to Being Seen, SEO and Website Tips for Small Businesses, that it's a lot more of what we've talked about here in a lot more detail. And then on that same page, you can check out, we actually have a monthly membership for if you want to get monthly reports and see, if you're doing better or how you're doing, and kind of see if what you're doing is helping.
What's next for you, Lori? What are you working on these days?
I am just building custom websites like crazy. I'm also getting ready to start building some, what's the word that I'm looking for? Some author websites, some packages for author websites, because I am involved in the Art of Connection, and I'm looking to help authors there. And just in general, authors need to be out there as well, and they don't need all need a fancy website. Sometimes you just need a page. So I'm working on building some packages for that as well.
I'm glad you said that, because if you're an author out there and you have a book, it's very, and say you're a speaker, and you go and you share messages, on different stages, and that leads them to your book. You've got to have a really good page online about your book, how they purchase it, where they get it, what's in it, maybe a video of you, a kind of quick peek inside the book, whatever that looks like, that will drive more people to purchase those books. Mm-hmm. And books can be really good for sales. I see so many people write books and then do nothing with them. They invest in it and then they don't ever really sell them or do anything with it. So having that page for authors is so important, when you write a book. So don't just write the book and think you're done with it. Get yourself a web page out there. And I know you do that very affordably for all of them as well. And again, bizbolster.com is where you want to go. We have some other links out there for you to be able to grab some quick downloads, as well as some guides, and for her to be able to do that quick audit for you as well. I think audits are the best way to know how things are going, right? So do the audit.
Absolutely.
And you can see for yourself. Lori, how do you want them to directly connect with you? Or you're on LinkedIn. Do you want them to DM you and let them know that they heard you on the Take the Leap podcast, and then they want to learn more about how they can talk to you or connect with you? Yeah. Is there a place on your website where they can just say, book a call with Lori?
Yep. Right at the top, let's chat button. And all throughout my website is schedule a breakthrough session. If you, or discovery call, I think is what I've got. Just they're all throughout my website. I am on LinkedIn. I would love to connect with anyone on LinkedIn. That's really my most active platform. But yes, absolutely. If you go out to my website, we can connect. You can also see my gallery out there and see that I don't build the same website for every single person. Yeah. You can get a lot of information. Hopefully, that's the point of the website, right?
Yeah, it really is. It's that digital footprint. That's what we're looking for, is the digital footprint. That is definitely the power of a website. So thank you so much, Lori, for being with us. And I just want to remind every single one of you out there, you and your brand is the only you and your brand that will ever be. It's the only brand that ever was. So with that being said, you've got this one chance to design this brand, this business, if it's you that you're branding, get out there and brand you so other people can find you, which is what I've done. I've branded myself, and that's what I've done. And I have a really good presence on SEO. And I know that because it's how people find me, and they will tell me, oh, I found you here, I found you there, or I found your podcast here. So utilize other people's platforms for leverage, magazines, blogs, podcasts, summits, conferences, you name it. I could go on and on and on forever, but utilize those pieces and get yourself out there already, right? You cannot play small in this business when you own a business. You've got to get yourself out there. So Lori, thank you so much for being with us today. And thank you for sharing your education and your knowledge. And everyone go get that guide so that you can download it. And there's a lot of tips that she gives just on things that you can go do yourself as well if you're not ready to work with someone to take care of that for you. So
we hope you enjoyed our show today, as our guests shared their secrets on designing their life by taking the necessary leaps to expand their influence and attract the right people and clients into their lives. To start these easy steps for yourself, be sure to visit www.colleenbiggs.net /freebies to download the 7 ways to increase your exposure today.